Sunday 27th of March. It is Easter Sunday. If you're into that sort of stuff, happy Easter. If you're into chocolate bunnies, happy Chocolate Bunny Day. If you're not into any of that stuff, happy Sunday. It is also International Whisky Day, which is an unofficial International Whisky Day, which celebrates the life of a guy called Michael Jackson. Not the Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson who looks like this, who is very, very highly regarded, or was a very highly regarded whiskey writer, and also a beer writer as well. He died a few years ago. I can't remember when it was that he died. About 2012 or something like that. Somebody will probably put me right in the comments, but he died a few years ago, and he was suffering from Parkinson's. So International Whisky Day was set up as a sort of unofficial day for celebrating whiskey and also his life, and essentially encouraging people to also donate to Cure for Parkinson's charity. So great cause, great reason to have a whisky day. There is a World Whisky Day, but it's in June, I think. So this is kind of an unofficial second one, and it's a good reason to have a couple of drams. So tonight I'll be having two, and I'm going to continue with the theme of Weems malts for the first one anyway, because this was also provided by Eric and Laura on the Weems malt stands at the Newcastle Whisky Festival. So this one I am very, very interested in for a number of reasons. This is a brand new distillery called Kingsbarns, and Kingsbarns is here on just kind of a bit round the corner from the Firth of Forth. Now, as soon as I saw the word Kingsbarns on their stand, I was quite intrigued, because Kingsbarns has a very, very good golf course, which is quite exclusive, bloody expensive to play on, and a few years ago I was very, very fortunate enough to play it, and it was one of the best rounds of golf I've ever had. Not played, unfortunately, but one of the best courses I've ever played. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, it's just down the coast from St Andrews, which, if you know golf, or even if you don't know golf, you've probably heard of. I haven't yet played St Andrews, unfortunately. I did go there, but unfortunately I've not played there. But Kingsbarns was a phenomenal course, and Loch Lomond is another one where very exclusive course. Was very lucky enough to play it, and they also have a single malt near there as well. So I'm going to save that one. I do actually have some Loch Lomond for later on, but tonight we'll concentrate on Kingsbarns. So this is a brand new distillery, and it turns out that the guy who came up with the idea of opening a distillery was actually a caddie on the course, a guy called Douglas Clement, who looks like this, and he basically got in conjunction with Weems malts, because they aren't that far away. They're just kind of further down the coast, actually in the Firth of Forth, and has utilised their expertise. And I've kind of been trying to find out, and they're mentioning it, but they don't really go into any specifics in terms of whether Weems malt actually stumped up the money, and this is their single malt, which they have Douglas actually kind of running it for them. But this is kind of under their banner. This is a Weems malt, and this is their single malt, as it were. So it only started distilling in January 2015. So last year was the first time when they started. Now, apparently plans were in place in 2009, but it didn't actually open until 2013, I think 2014, the actual buildings. But the first distilling turned up in January of last year. So obviously, to be called whiskey and to be sold as whiskey, when you're a new distillery, it's quite difficult, because you have to mature it for a minimum of 3 years before you can even sell it as whiskey. Now, if you're a distillery, you need to start earning money pretty much straight off the bat, because it's expensive to build it, to get the stills, to get all the equipment that you need, to get the people involved, to go through the whole production process, and then you have to sit there for 3 years and go, what do we do now? So what you're tending to find with new distilleries is they are doing gins and vodkas and other spirits that they can distill using the stills, but actually release them immediately. The visitor centre tends to be open and showing people the process, and Kingsbarns has a distillery centre which looks really, really impressive, to try and get people to come there and keep coming back, and obviously come back when they can then start selling the whisky. I think Annandale or one of the other relatively new ones also has a blended whisky, where basically they're getting a blend from somewhere else but selling it under their label. So they're not saying it's from that distillery, but it's a Spirits of Scotland, or this will be along the style of what we're looking for. And what Kingsbarns have done, and what some other distilleries are starting to do now, is they're actually doing they're calling it New Make. So it's not whisky, but it's what comes off the still. So it's basically directly off the still, and they're siphoning some off to bottle to say, look, this is what will become whisky. See what you think of it. See if there's any kind of flavours or noses, aromas that are in there that you will then pick up on when you come back and you buy a bottle of the brand new 3-year-old whisky, and the 5 and the 10, and as things progress on. So it's a really good idea. It means that you can sell some stock already. This is what it looks like in a bottle. I think it's 20 cl bottles that they're releasing it at, not 70s, and you're looking at about 15 quid for this 20 cl bottle. But it's released at 63.5% because it's straight off the still, no water added, nothing like that. So it's what would be cask strength if it actually went into a cask. Now the distillery manager is a guy called Peter Holroyd, and he looks like this, which is basically like, he looks about 12. Now I'm 38, and I still think that I'm young-ish, but I look at that picture of him and I feel old, really old, because he just looks so young. I don't actually know how old he is. He could be 38 as well, but he looks like a 12-year-old. He was a brewer at St Austell's Brewery and also Strathaven, so he's got brewery experience, and he's basically taking the step into distilling, because essentially brewing is half that process, and then you go through the distilling process. So you're already doing half the job before you even start looking into distilling. So as you can see, absolutely crystal clear, because that's what colour it runs off of the still. The colour is either from the casks, or if companies decide to add caramel to it to make it a more whisky colour. But this is what it looks like when it comes off the still, absolutely crystal clear. Now obviously intense, and this is a spirit, this isn't a whisky, this is New Make spirit. So there's obvious intensity on the nose because this is straight off the still. 63.5%, so really strong alcoholic content, but there is a really good fruitiness to it. You think about vodkas and gins where they've got a purity to it, but there is still aromas and elements coming off there, and there's a really nice fruitiness to this. Now I'm going to try it neat. Oh, it's quite minty as well. It's very, very nice on the nose. Now, I'm going to try it neat. It's recommended to add water to it, obviously, but I've got water in my syringe. But I want to try it neat anyway, just to give it a go and give it half a chance. But there's a lovely fruity mintiness to it. Very, very nice indeed. Quite a rich mouthfeel to it as well. Again, the mint's there, and it's fresh mint. It's like mint leaves. There's a nice juiciness to it as well. Lovely fruity, juicy dark fruits. Blackcurrants in particular. Blackcurrants and blackberries. There's a nuttiness to it as well. It's very intriguing indeed. Now, it will pick up a lot of flavour from whatever casks it's in, and I'm not actually sure what casks they're going to be in, but there is definitely enough there to say that already, straight off the bat, there's a really good deal of flavour in there, and it will be very interesting to see what cask influence does to it. So let's add a couple of drops of water. Go for about 5. Let's see how that goes. Might not be enough because there's still a fair amount in the glass. Now that does open it out a bit more. Now it's reminding me of schnapps. There's a sweetness to it. very, very clean, very fresh. Again, the mint's still there, but it's starting to get a kind of fruity schnapsness to it. So it's kind of like pear and apple, but really concentrated. It's intriguing stuff. Now, I might have had New Make from another distillery before, but I don't remember having it. So it's intriguing for me to try New Make. Strictly speaking, this shouldn't be part of the challenge because it's strictly speaking not whiskey, but I'm not waiting 3 years to have this to complete the challenge, so I'm counting this as a whiskey, even though legally it's not. But it's very, very intriguing to see what it's got the potential to be. There's a lovely fruitiness on it, really well balanced. I'm going to add a little touch more water just to that final bit, because it's still burning a little bit more than I think it should do, to give it half a chance. But this is fascinating, and I would certainly implore anybody who's got any interest in whiskey to try and get hold of this, and probably try some of it and then store some of it as well, to then wait and see how it develops, and to be able to give yourself, if you can store it airtight so that it'll keep for say 10 years or so, and be able to see sort of their first release in a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old and see how it progresses. Or even if you just went to their first release, because as soon as it hits a 3-year-old, they're going to be releasing some of it, and I'll get onto that on the next one about releasing whiskey as soon as you can. But it'll be fascinating to see how this compares to what's been in cask for 3 years and what the cask has done to this, and how it's evolved it and changed it. But to be honest, as a digestive type drink, this would be absolutely brilliant. It's really clean, there's a lovely fruitiness to it, there's more citrus fruit kicking in now, and orange zest and things like that. So it started off quite minty, and now with that water that's kind of knocking it down a little bit and tempering everything, it's turned into kind of orange zest and things like that. Intriguing, very, very intriguing indeed. I look forward to when they release their full whiskey, but unfortunately we're going to have to wait a couple of years for that. But it's fantastic, and an education for me as well. Great stuff. I shall wash everything out and have a quick swig of water, and then I'll crack on with the next one, which is also another new whiskey. So let's see what that one's like. Cheers.